It's Friday, February 14th, 2025, and I'm Dave Sobel. 3 things to know today. Return to office or bust? Dell, federal workers, and the job market trends paint a complicated picture. More strategy, fewer vendors, why the partner landscape is changing fast, and AI speeds up at Microsoft, reshapes software testing, and faces policy challenges. Are we keeping up? This is the business of tech. While I've covered a lot of labor news recently, I hadn't looked at return to work stories in a bit, and I'm seeing more of them. Amidst this, in the beginning of February, Dell's CEO, Michael Dell, announced a significant shift in company policy, declaring the end of hybrid work and mandating that employees return to the office full-time starting March 3rd for those living near an office. This decision marks a reversal from the company's previously flexible stance, as Dell emphasized the efficiency of in-person collaboration over digital communication. He stated that a 30-second conversation could replace lengthy email threads that could take hours or even days. While Dell commits to maintaining some flexibility for remote workers living far from an office, he noted that the company strives for increased in-person interactions to drive market leadership. A recent employee survey revealed a sharp decline in morale, with satisfaction scores dropping from 63 to 48 in just 1 year, indicating widespread dissatisfaction with the shift back to traditional office work. The Office of Personnel Management announced that spouses of active duty U.S. military members working for federal agencies will be exempt from the Trump administration's return to office policy. The memo allows military spouses to maintain their remote work arrangements, supporting their ability to manage family expenses. This guidance also applies to those married to U.S. foreign service members stationed abroad. Google employees have begun circulating an internal petition titled Job Security, which has garnered over 1,250 signatures. This petition comes in response to ongoing layoffs and cost-cutting measures anticipated for the year. Workers express concerns about instability affecting their ability to perform high-quality work, as highlighted in the petition, stating, quote, "Ongoing rounds of layoffs make us feel insecure about our jobs," end quote. The employees are calling for CEO Sundar Pichai to offer buyouts before any layoffs, guarantee severance for those affected, and refrain from using low performance reviews to justify dismissals. And some data. In a recent trend report by Indeed, the demand for remote and hybrid work continues to be strong, with over 17% of job postings in Ireland mentioning these work arrangements. The report indicates that remote work is here to stay, particularly in high-demand sectors such as software development, where 41% of roles are hybrid or remote. Job seeker interest in flexible work remains high, with around 2.6% of all job searches in Ireland containing words related to remote or hybrid positions. Why do we care? Note what Dell didn't say. I was wrong before. His previous statements were, remote work is here to stay. Dell's justification is revealing. He frames this as a productivity issue, citing the speed of in-person communication. However, he doesn't provide hard data to back this claim, only a general argument about efficiency. Meanwhile, employee morale is dropping sharply, with satisfaction scores plummeting 15 points in just a year. That's a huge hit to engagement. Low morale is a well-documented predictor of attrition. If Dell makes this move to boost productivity, he's trading one problem for another. Or maybe it's intentional. The Office of Personnel Management's exemption for military spouses exposes another truth. Return to office mandates are about what benefits the employer, not the employee. The government is willing to make an exception when it's in its best interest, keeping military spouses employed and reducing turnover costs. But for everyone else, back to the office. It reinforces the idea that flexibility isn't about what's possible, it's about who has the leverage to demand it. Not every company is doubling down on office work. The Indeed data from Ireland shows continued strong demand for remote and hybrid works, particularly in tech. If remote work is truly an obstacle to productivity, we'd expect hiring to slow in those areas, but that's not happening. Instead, high-demand fields like software development still prioritize flexibility. So the question becomes, are companies like Dell reacting to real business needs or just following outdated managerial instincts, or is there another reason? The companies that lean too hard into in-office mandates risk losing top talent to competitors who remain flexible. That's the real cost of these decisions, and it's one Dell might feel sooner rather than later. Or perhaps it's intentional. This episode is supported by Comet Backup. Are you seeking a fast, secure, and flexible backup solution? Comet Backup empowers you to manage all your backups from a simple, centralized platform. Protect Windows, Linux, and macOS, as well as Hyper-V, VMware, Synology, Microsoft 365, and more. Manage backups on your terms. You choose where the data is stored, with on-prem storage and direct-to-cloud with industry-leading integrations like AWS and Microsoft Azure. Experience streamlined data protection and disaster recovery tailored to your needs. Visit cometbackup.com to start your free 30-day trial today. Get $100 free credit when you sign up with the promo code MSP Radio. Start running backups in 15 minutes or less with Comet Backup. Not quite a big idea, but something I wanted to highlight. Rich Freeman over in Channelholic looked at trends in vendor partner programs. A recent study by International Data Corporation revealed that half of the surveyed partners maintained fewer than 5 vendor relationships, highlighting a significant trend toward consolidation in the industry. Steve White, IDC's program vice president for channels and alliances, noted that 76% of partners have an active relationship with Microsoft. In comparison, 49% engage with Amazon Web Services and 43% with Cisco. As competition intensifies, White advises channel chiefs to avoid leading with lead generation, pushing generic portals, and focusing on product sales, as partners now seek to sell outcomes rather than individual products. He emphasizes the importance of personalized resources and unified partner programs. Why do we care? A key data point in the broader trend is that partners are streamlining their vendor relationships, which means vendors need to compete harder for attention. The days of sprawling partner ecosystems where companies maintain a dozen vendor relationships are fading. Partners are looking for deeper, more strategic engagements rather than juggling multiple suppliers. The concentration on Microsoft, AWS, and Cisco shows what the gravity is. These vendors provide platforms, not just products, and partners are gravitating toward ecosystems that offer a full-stack approach to solving customer problems. It reinforces IDC's point. Partners want to sell outcomes, not just SKUs. If a vendor strategy is still built around lead gen programs and portal-driven self-service, they fall behind. And all of this, measurement for IT providers to judge their vendors. It's time for some big ideas. I noted an analysis at The Verge of Microsoft's speed of release for DeepSeek. The key insight? Directions from top leadership to test and deploy R1 on Azure AI Foundry and GitHub quickly. Here's your key quote. Microsoft isn't trying to produce all of the coal itself, but it wants to sell the shovels needed by AI application developers. Consumers and businesses have already shown they're not willing to pay extra for AI yet, so Microsoft is increasingly trying to find ways, like R1, to drive the cost down and consumption up. End quote. Some insights into AI on software testing. Over in the new stack, the transformative impact of generative artificial intelligence on software testing emphasizes that while AI can generate tests, it is insufficient for the complex demands of modern software development. The piece highlights that current AI-assisted testing often focuses on superficial improvements, with many tools generating a high volume of tests, but requiring human oversight to interpret and maintain them. The article advocates for AI systems that generate tests and adapt and evolve alongside code changes. It argues that as artificial intelligence improves its decision-making capabilities, it will transition from a supportive role to managing complex testing tasks independently. This evolution is crucial for driving innovation and ensuring high-quality software, ultimately allowing developers to focus on strategic goals without the burden of routine testing tasks. Integrating generative AI into testing is a pivotal step, revolutionizing software development. I also wanted to highlight a bit of perspective on something that I wrestle with, how to cover tech policy. In a recent analysis published by the Washington Post, journalist Cristiano Lima Strong highlighted the key blind spots in tech policy coverage, emphasizing the growing importance of state-level legislation and court challenges. With the rapid evolution of technology touching various aspects of daily life, Lima Strong notes that while many legislative efforts occur at the state level, they often go unnoticed nationally. He urges readers to pay attention to how these local laws and ongoing legal battles shape the tech landscape. Lima Strong also stresses the need to consider consumer impacts, as significant policy changes could directly affect everyday people. He points out that despite a perception of political polarization, bipartisan cooperation is evident in tech policy, with joint efforts on issues like antitrust and online safety. As he concludes his tenure at the Washington Post, Lima Strong encourages a broader perspective that includes international influences and diverse viewpoints in tech policy discussions. Why do we care? Here are your questions to consider. How do you lean into customer demand for business outcomes around AI and machine learning data analysis without exposure to models and AI infrastructure commoditization? Can we learn from the software testing process around speeding up repetitive tasks without introducing new failure points in software that does not understand complexity? And I'll offer 2 questions on the last one. First, as a listener, I'd love to hear your take on balancing following the larger trends, say what's happening at Washington, with the local needs, knowing I can't be all things to all people. And second, how can you balance tracking these fragmented policies as compliance burdens increase? Are you ready to get your brand in front of the tech leaders shaping the future of managed services? Here at the Business of Tech, we offer flexible sponsorship opportunities to meet your needs, whether it's live show sponsorship, podcast advertising, event promotion, or custom webinars. From affordable exposure options to exclusive sponsorships, our offerings are designed to fit businesses and vendors of all sizes looking to make an impact. Prices start at just $500 per month, making our packages a fraction of typical event sponsorship costs. Be a part of the conversation that matters to IT service providers worldwide. Join us at MSP Radio and amplify your message where it counts. Visit mspradio.com/engage today to explore all the ways we can help you grow. Thanks for listening. Today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to my wife Sharon, who you may not know is the producer on many of my shows, particularly the live ones. It's also National Call-In Single Day for those of you who don't have a significant other. Just call in single. NerdioCon will be held in Palm Springs, California from April 7th through 9th. Visit nerdiocon.com to learn all about it. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed or followed on your favorite platform. It's free and helps directly. Give us a review, too. If you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/MSPradio and you'll get access to content early. Or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Have a question you want answered? We take listener questions, send them in, ideally as a voice memo or video to question@mspradio.com. I answer listener questions live on our Wednesday live show on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you've got a comment or a thought on a story, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube, or reach out on LinkedIn if you're listening to the podcast. And if you want to advertise on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you again on our next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.